गैप टाइप हो गए वो।
Okay. Hello everyone. Very good evening. Good evening everyone. I welcome you all to the first class of Biopharmaceutics, that too. Let's wait till everybody else joins. Let's wait for a while. I hope you all have enjoyed the previous class. You all got to learn about the basics of this class and how we are going to proceed. So before starting, I would like to mention few points, and please let me know how many of you are preparing for GPAT 2026, how many of you are preparing for GPAT 2027 or any other government pharmacist exam, so that even I get to know you all better and we can chat on how we are going to proceed as well, right? Few students have joined, so first I am waiting for you all your responses. Then we are going to see the main topic of today's discussion, as well as if I have added some MCQs in the end relevant to our topic. Few students have joined. Good evening. Please come live so that we can talk for a few seconds, few minutes, and then we shall proceed with our important topic. All of you, I suppose you have joined for the GPAT batch. You are interested to learn about how we are going to proceed with the GPAT exam preparation. Vishwa, good evening, very good evening. So, as we are excited to launch this batch, but before that, we would like to introduce you all to these subjects. What will be the criteria, how we are going to proceed further. मैम प्लीज हिंदी बोली, लेक्चर तो सबके लिए है. ऑल्दो डेफिनेटली येस, द लेक्चर इज फॉर एवरीबडी, बट दिस बैच स्पेसिफिकली इज फॉर द इंग्लिश language. We have a separate channel, our main channel as well. This batch, this live video is specifically designed for the English batch, okay, so that everybody understands as well. So this GPAT exam not only is an exam that is going to be just a paper and pen paper, or you have a computerized based test. This is an actual test of your patience, your learning, guidance, and all that we will prepare in these few months, right? So not only the start of the exam, you need guidance, right? For the preparation, you need guidance. And for your guidance, we all are here. You have all these subject facilities, right? You have different books that will be made available to you. Every time the topic will be completed, you will get the access to the MCQs, test papers, live videos, recorded sessions. So we will not leave any end at which we will lose the preparation stage, right? But it's you, your confidence and your preparation, your consistency that will help us to even understand where you all stand, and we can help you even better, right? Most of the students, some of them, you may be from the third year or final year, right? It is okay for both. So before starting with our topic, I would like to introduce you all that yes, we are officially launching our 2026-27 batch, where we are going to provide you with the 500 plus live classes. You will be getting the access to the hard copy books. You will get access to the previous year papers with their complete explanations, daily practice papers, 500 online test series, right? All at the minimal cost that you can see here, as well as you can see that we are starting the batch from 29th June. For enrolling in the batch, you can call for the numbers that are listed here, right? So as well as we have one more important announcement to make, that we will be providing the e-notes for both BPharm as well as GPAT. For that, you have to follow these steps. You have to download the GDC classes app, visit the batches in the app section, and enter the batch code which is listed here, right? So without any delay, I think I am clear to you all that how we are going to proceed this time, how we are going to entertain you all, right? So likewise previous year we have lots and lots going on. We have seen preparation stage of the students, we have seen the final stage of the students, we have seen the questions, right? So starting with the GPAT preparation, you need to screen down what subjects are important. Number one, what subjects are important. Number two, how you are going to access those subjects. Number third and most important, mark my words today, will be consistency. It all depends upon how you are going to perform, how you are going to endure with your syllabus. We are here to motivate you, to help you that yes, this will be the passage of the preparation, but everything will fall apart unless you are consistent. Okay, so this way today we are going to start with our first class of the biopharmaceutics. I hope I have motivated you enough, I have brushed you up enough, polished you enough to get ready with the class. And so let's start with our first topic, that is going to be the drug absorption. We all have heard about the drug absorption process, right? So generally in the pharmacology as well, whenever we are going to start with the basic passage of how the drug is going to perform once it enters the body, we divide it into four main parts. We say it is the ADME process, right? ADME stands for what? Absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion, right? Even on these parts also the questions get asked. So what is this absorption? Today the topic of concern will be the absorption part, that is how the movement, the process of the movement of the unchanged drug from the site of administration to the systematic circulation. That means how the drug is, when it is administered, how it is going to perform, how it will be transported, how it will enter the systemic circulation, blood circulation, right? Why? Because once the drug enters the blood circulation, it needs to find its own target and it should release the drug at its target site. But this process is not that simple. Why? Because we have multiple barriers, we have multiple conditions. You all have heard about the first pass metabolism, right? All those processes do restrict the availability of the drug to the target site. So imagine you have to reach from point A to point B. Let's consider point A is your home and point B is your college. So you have to reach your college at 9 a.m. in the morning. But what will happen if you wake up at 8:50? Mark my words, this is an important story. Let's consider if you wake up at 8:50 a.m. you have to reach your college by 9 a.m. So you have 10 minutes, dress up, brush up and straight away run to your college. At 9:05 you have reached, you have a lot of things, that traffic was there, you could not start your vehicle, there was a puncture in the vehicle, the gate was not opening and blah blah blah, this and that. So all those are barriers which are restricting you to reach the target. That puncture in the vehicle, that problem in the gate, that issue with your clothes, that things you were not able to find, the bag you were not able to pack properly, right? But the wholly solely problem was what? You woke up late. So whatever problem is with the drug or formulation, the effect definitely is restricted because of the body physiology. But there are multiple issues with the drug itself that needs to be solved. Then only you can expect it to perform better inside your body. I hope I am clear to you all. I have put it in the most simpler terms, right? So in order to reach to the target, first thing first, you need to eliminate your issues. So what are the favorable things that you must look at? Let's understand the drug absorption process little bit better. So if you have a drug, I'll just draw the simplest diagram here so that you can understand, right? So let's suppose you have a drug. I also need some of your motivation inside the chat box so that I can see what you all are understanding or not. Suppose if you have a drug, this drug is lipophilic in nature. Another, you have a drug which is hydrophilic in nature. I hope you all understand what is the meaning of lipophilic and hydrophilic. Lipophilic means lipid loving. Lipophilic means lipid loving. Hydrophilic means water loving. Right? This is all we have understood. But what is the major issue? You know the membrane is made up of biphospholipid layer. What was the name of the model? This you have heard in your minor classes. What was the name of the model which declared that the cell membrane is made up of two bilipid layer with proteins that are stuck inside, right? Some of which are intrinsic, some of which are extrinsic, right? You have seen this diagram before. This is the basic diagram of the cell membrane. So if your molecule is lipophilic in nature, what I have mentioned, these are the biphospholipid layer. To understand the process of absorption, this is most important. So if your drug is lipophilic, the phenomena of like dissolve like concept, that means if a drug is lipophilic in nature, it will be more accepted with the bilipid layer. Once it is more accepted, it will be easily be able to pass across the membrane, following the phenomena of, what do we say, like dissolve like. Because the drug molecule was also lipid in nature, the membrane is also lipid in nature. So let's see how this like dissolve like will function, and the drug will be able to cross based on the simple phenomena of passive diffusion. What is passive diffusion? The concentration of drug from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration. How many of you have understood till now? Please mention in the chat box. I can repeat the complete things that I have mentioned. I need you all to be as active as possible. Right? Then we have a hydrophilic drug which is water loving. So this membrane, the biphospholipid layer, this is a very selectively permeable membrane, which means it is going to select that yes, you are going to be permitted to be able to pass or not. But being hydrophilic in nature, this one is not going to pass. And so as mentioned, that not only the barriers but the nature of the drug also has a lot of impact on the drug absorption process. If a drug lipophilic in nature will have a better absorption. Better absorption means it is more available for distribution, for metabolism, for elimination, and most importantly, if the absorption is better, the action is going to be much better, right? So these are our important methods of the drug transport, whereby we are going to see that we have number one, transcellular pathway. Transcellular pathway. Number two we have is the paracellular or intercellular pathway. Number third we have is the vesicular mediated. Very important from GPAT exam point of view. And let me tell you one thing, everyone. Last year, in this GPAT 2025, it is the last year exam now. So based on our marathons and important videos, from my own class, I have seen at least 15 to 18 questions were as such in the exam. Not even a word was changed, right? So that is the trick. We always inform you that this is most important and relevant for your GPAT exam. You just need to pay a little attention. little bit of revision and you will be done with the exam. I promise you, based on the pharmaceutics, I have seen last year 15 and previous year 15 to 18 questions were also again it was there. Okay, so please have a good concentration here. So we have a transcellular pathway, we have a paracellular pathway and vesicular mediated pathway, right? In the transcellular, we have passive transport, we have active transport. You all have heard about the passive diffusion, the active diffusion process, right? Passive diffusion means when the drug concentration from a region of their high concentration to a region of low concentration, but the only thing here is that energy is not involved. That means ATP is not utilized. But in the active transport, you will be requiring the use of the ATP. Okay, let's see these one by one in a more detailed manner. Okay. So, number one will be the passive transport. We all are aware that passive transport includes number one and most important, this right here. You can see this screenshot right here. Let's guarantee for the GPAT 2026. You will find at least one or two questions only from this table. Okay. This is the start of the class, but I am telling you one thing. You will find at least one question from here at least. As well as test series, previous year. This is like flooded. This topic is flooded with all important things to note down. Number one, we have passive diffusion. Just like I have drawn previously, the drugs which are lipophilic in nature will follow a like dissolve like phenomena, right? That means the phenomena where the lipophilic drugs are easily able to cross this barrier. So this is known as non-ionic diffusion. Very important. Almost 90% of the drugs do follow the passive diffusion process, as well as here the driving force is the concentration gradient. Whenever we are talking about the drug diffusion process, the main phenomena is concentration gradient. Okay, and very important detail, not only the nature, not only the type of the drug molecule, but their size. If it is between 100 to 400 Dalton, as well as lipophilic in nature, only then you can say it is going to pass through the passive diffusion process. Okay. Now, because it is a process deviated with the concentration gradient, it will follow fixed law of diffusion. Fixed law of diffusion. Okay. Chart is not clear. I think you have some network issue. You can little bit zoom it. I'll zoom it a bit from my end also so that you can see it properly. It is okay now? Yes. Yes. So let's see what we have learned so far. So passive diffusion is a non-ionic diffusion. More than 90% of the drugs are able to pass across with this. The driving force will be the concentration gradient. Number third, we have 100 to 400 Dalton size as well as lipophilic in nature. See, those who have joined now, biopharmaceutics is a little typical subject. It is not a usual subject like pharmacology. We know drug mechanism we are going to study. In the chemistry, we know that structures we are going to study. In the cognosy, we know what we are going to study about the herbal drugs and all, right? But in the biopharmaceutics, an important part of the pharmaceutics, whereby you are going to see a lots and lots of how the formulation parameter, how the drug parameters, the physicochemical parameters of drug are going to impact the nature and the type of response it is going to show in vivo. That means once inside the body, how the drug is going to perform, that is exhibited and understood using the biopharmaceutics. Okay, so number one, absorption transport pathway is the passive diffusion. In the passive transport, governed by the fixed law of diffusion, which states rate of drug diffusion, which is dq upon dt, is equal to 𝙎𝑘𝑊O into 𝐶𝑔𝑖𝑡 minus C upon H. This equation is very important, which signifies that rate of drug diffusion is directly proportional to the diffusion constant, area, partition coefficient and difference in the concentration. Okay, so here one more important point is that it is a non-saturable process. I can guarantee you today itself that you will see such question like on every statement you can spot in all of your test series, all of your exam, any GPAT, government, pharmacist, any exam you are preparing for. This itself is an important topic which holds a lot of importance. We'll discuss later on also. So we are clear with the passive diffusion. Not only the concentration gradient. Second we have is the pore or the connective or the bulk flow transport. Now you have seen the you have seen the diagram of the bilipid layer. It is like this. We have phospholipid, right, arranged in a manner we call it as biphospholipid layer, right. So thickness of this layer, please note down, is 25 angstrom. You have seen sometimes this year also the in the NIPER exam simplest questions were asked majorly from the biopharmaceutics. So we have a thickness of 25 angstrom and we have a little bit of limited hydrophilic space. Not only the membrane is completely hydrophobic, we have little bit of aqueous pore channels or very limited hydrophilic space with a size range of 4 to 10 angstrom. So that means if the drug molecule is hydrophilic and very small in size, then it may be easily transported, but it should be in the size range very less to be able to transport it. That means around 100 Dalton or less than 100 Dalton. Very important detail. Okay. Correct. Only hydrophobic or lipophilic drugs do show the passive diffusion from 100 to 400 Dalton. But we have to see the limited hydrophilic space. That means the drug molecules which are less than 100 Dalton as well as hydrophilic are able to pass. But here the concentration gradient is not the driving force, but here it will be the hydrostatic pressure or the water flux we say, because the drug molecule with the water or the solvent as limited, because it is a hydrophilic moiety, it will definitely have the polar thing with it, it will have water. So the flux, the force will be, the push, the drag, the force will be created along with which the limited aqueous, the drugs which are hydrophilic will pass through these aqueous pores. So in the passive diffusion, the concentration gradient was the driving force, but in the connective bulk or the pore transport, we have solvent drag or water flux that is going to promote such kind of transport. For example, urea, water, glucose, such kind of compounds are able to transport from such type of mechanism, right? So when I say this, this is a really important topic. Third, we have ion pair transport. As the name suggests, it needs a pair, right? Itself, the drug molecule is not able to transport on its own, but it needs a counter ion, right? It needs a counter ion to be able to cross the barrier of the membrane, and once it reaches the other side, it will dissociate and release the drug molecule. So this is the phenomena we have seen once the enzyme substrate complex is also formed, if you remember the lock and key hypothesis. Okay, so such drug molecules are based on the charge, such transport. So till now we have seen, okay, size is the parameter. We have seen the nature, hydrophilic, lipophilic. We have seen charge. So these are, just like I have told you, the properties of the drug are the major things to focus on once you are going to see the factors influencing the drug absorption process. Next we have is the carrier mediated transport. Now this one is a specialized transport. Just like the enzymes, sometimes some drugs need specialized carrier molecules which actually bind, the drug molecules do bind to the active site of the target molecule, the carrier molecule. Suppose this is the carrier, this is the drug. So the drug molecule binds to the active site of the carrier and this helps it to transport across the membrane, leaving the carrier and the drug molecule. Now this carrier is again made available for the transport. But let me tell you one thing, the story does not end here, because in the passive diffusion you must have spotted the word important, non-saturable. But because the carriers are limited in number, these carriers are limited in number, we generally observe a capacity limited process. We generally observe a capacity limited process because the number of carriers is limited, thus the saturation sometimes takes place. This saturation actually brings up the non-linearity in the pharmacokinetics, right? Some people may ask you that what is this linearity or this non-linearity. So based on the drug concentration we see the effect. We all know based on the drug concentration, the whatever dose you have administered, the plasma concentration of the drug will increase, so as the effect. But this condition is subjective to the non-saturable condition, whereby we see the linear kinetics condition. Once the carriers are transsaturated, because they are limited in number, they are going to experience the non-linearity. This non-linearity is subjective to their availability. So this is a saturated transport. Wherever the saturation can occur, it can occur at the metabolism state, it can occur at the excretion state, at the distribution state, or at the absorption state, right? So wherever you will spot the saturation, you will immediately think of that the carriers have been saturated because of the capacity limited process that results in the non-linearity. Now this is explained by the Michaelis-Menten equation. Very important from GPAT exam perspective. We have a separate discussion on it. Okay. This is all about the carrier mediated transport. Next we have is the facilitated diffusion. In the facilitated diffusion, you can see here also the carrier mediated transport will take place. That means it will be a down the hill transport based on the concentration gradient. It will be a down the hill transport mechanism. Okay. So these are the basic transport based on the passive transport mechanisms. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Only in English language available. Again, those who are joining late, let me tell you one thing. These classes are mainly for the English batch only, because we have a separate batch for the Hindi as well, whereby the language is not an issue. But for the students who are facing issues, there are more than welcome there. I promise you one thing, the clarity of the concepts you are going to get, we are going to like leech each and every topic, rip it apart and discuss everything that is coming out of it, so that there is no chance you are left. And also we know human mind is very delicate. We have a lot of information to gather and lot of information to revise. So the best part is, again and again you will be exposed to same topics, same class, same tables, same PYQs, so that it fixes up in your mind. I will make it clear to you all in today's class only. You will see how you are going to respond. I have seen students struggling with biopharmaceutics so much with the equation part, the numerical part. Trust me, till the end I will be with you, till the last date I will be with you to teach you and to bring you all up here to learn the concepts. Not only that, we are also here to guide you what to do after this. Right, at any stage you get stuck, you get one-to-one conversation, you get to talk to us as well, whereby we can streamline what is the problem. See, being a teacher, I can say just this thing. If you want to wake up early and you are not able to do that, I'll personally call you, everybody, to get them in the morning study, right? So that kind of pressure, if you want, we can build that also, right? But ultimately, the discipline will definitely come once you are ready for it. Okay, consistency, discipline, there is no shortcut to success. Trust me, even we have passed this stage, we are also now, we have moved ahead, but we are still stuck with the syllabus. We have to teach you all, right? Prepare for it. But we have seen students that were literally standing nowhere, and now the concepts are such great, they have achieved good ranks, and always the toppers are from GDC, and we expect to see your names as well. Okay, so let's come back, let's get back to our topic. We were looking at the transcellular mechanisms, whereby we have seen about the passive transport. In the passive transport, we have seen the passive diffusion process, right? Right. So in the passive diffusion, the 90% of the drugs are able to pass. Number second, we have to see it is non-saturable. More than concentration gradient is the major driving force. Next, we have that is the size range 100 to 400 Dalton. In the pore, connective, bulk flow, solvent drag, water flux is the major transport. Hydrophilic drugs with a size range 100 Dalton can be passed. In the ion pair, we can see that based on the charge, it will bond to its other counter ion. In the carrier mediated, we can see it is very much structure specific. Why? Because the drug molecule will bind to the specific carrier. Based on the active site, the binding will take place, but because of the limited number of carrier, it can be a saturable transport. This saturation causes the non-linearity. Guarantee in your Viva exams also final year. What is the cause of the non-linearity? Right? You should know the saturation at all stages, absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion. Anywhere the transport is present, it can get saturated. Last was the facilitated diffusion. Although this is also a carrier mediated transport sort of, but it is also based on the concentration gradient, right? Here it was not based on the concentration gradient, and it is a downhill transport. That means it does not require energy to be able to transport it, right? So we have seen the passive diffusion. Kindly see all the important points we have discussed. Then we have seen the just a moment. Yes. So this is the best way you can get a great idea of what you have studied so far. So we have to see, we have a paracellular transport. Paracellular means the transport will definitely be through the tight junctions. You can see the tight junctions between the cell. The transport of the drug molecules will be through these tight junctions. So sometimes the questions are super direct. You will be asked, what is the paracellular transport? Transport of drug molecule across the membrane through this tight junctions. This is the paracellular transport, right? Transcellular, that means across the cell. You can spot it will be across the cell. Now, even if it is across the cell, it can have multiple types. You have seen we have active transport, we have passive transport, we have, right, facilitated, carrier mediated. Then we have persorption, which is the vesicular mediated transport. Vesicular mediated transport, you can see it resembles the endocytosis. Now, my dear students, I hope you recall from the class 6th class, we all know how does the amoeba obtains food, right? How does it obtains food? It has pseudopodia. The pseudopodia tries to engulf the particle, and it basically it gets obtained with the food. The endocytosis is possible. Similar mechanism is followed by a lot of your cells, your macrophages, your body cells, which are able to form such vesicles that transport the drug molecules. So here you can spot that we have a dead enterocyte. Enterocyte means intestinal cell, right? This can form temporary vesicles. This has formed temporary vesicles which are transporting the drug molecules across the membrane. So such kind of transport is also possible. Okay. The detail, the depth we will discuss definitely. Then the major class that you need to focus on, yes, is the active transport. Why I say it is important? See, the active transport can be as primary active transport, secondary active transport. Okay, we have the transcellular pathway, we have seen the passive transport, we have seen the tight passive diffusion, facilitated, concentration gradient mediated, or water flux, right? Next we have is the active transport. That means it will require the energy. This includes yet another ion pair transport possible here also, and ABC transport. Ion pair, you all are aware that we need the drug molecules can be charged and they bind with their counter ions and transport across the membrane. Next we will come to the examples, do not worry, I am just trying that you all get aware of the topic even better. Then we have ABC transport. Not always the transport is inside the cell. Not always the transport occurs inside the cell. Now I don't know how many of you are going to come with us on this journey whereby we are going to discuss these GPAT exam based syllabus for all the topics, the PYQs, the DPPs, everything. But even if you are watching me for the first time or the last, whatsoever, I need you all to remember one thing. See, I am a PhD student also. Apart from this, I am a PhD student also. So being a full-time PhD student, a lot of what is going on us, because we need clarity of the basic concepts, right? Because you have entered the pharma field, you should understand how the drugs, even the where does the issue starts. For example, we have to see the example of ABC transporter, right? ABC transporter, ATP binding cassette. The name is the ATP binding cassette. From the ATP binding cassette class, we have a special transporter which we call as the PGP. Please write down. Even I hope that you are able to connect with us with your syllabus as well. But at least remember this PGP, which is P-glycoprotein. So P-glycoprotein is the one such transport which causes efflux. That means consider the drug molecule as the foreign object and throws them out of the cell. So where the concentration was required to be increased, in turn it causes efflux. It considers them as not their own and pushes them out of the membrane, right? So this is the major problem with most of the drugs that face the problem of multi-drug resistance. For the cancer drugs, anti-cancer drugs, most of the drug you see the problem of the multi-drug resistance, because no matter how much you increase the dose, the drug is not reaching the target. The reason is the cancer cells do express this PGP, which are the P-glycoprotein, which are from the class of the ABC proteins. These ABC transporters do not let the drug molecule enter the target cell but cause their efflux. So the drug concentration is not achieved inside the cell, inside that tissue, and there is no effect of the drug no matter how much concentration you are increasing. This causes the multi-drug resistance. Okay, so that is why this transporter, the understanding this transport is very important. Originally, this was made for the toxins, but yet it causes the efflux of the drugs. Next we have is the secondary active transport, whereby we have symport and antiport. From the name you can spot symport, that is together transported. That means transport occurs on the same direction. Both molecules can be transported in the same direction. You can see sodium glucose transporter. Same way, we have antipode or the counter transport, in which the movement is in the opposite directions. Okay. So this is all about the basics of the drug transport mechanism. Last but not the least, you can spot this as a very important table. Okay. Now, I hope you all have understood the basics of drug transport. Okay. What is the importance if the drug absorption has to be increased? How can you increase the absorption of the drug? Let me give you an example of a drug. Okay. Then let's see how well you think about it. How we troubleshoot the problem. Okay. Those who are connected to me right now, please listen to me. This is going to troubleshoot your brain how biopharmaceutics comes in action. Okay. Let's take an example of Taxol. I'll write it here. Let's take an example of Taxol. Taxol is a class 4 drug. That means the solubility is bad, the permeability is bad. If the solubility is bad, the dissolution will be even worse. Okay. If the permeability is bad, it will not transport across the membrane. I may recall you for this. Let's consider a drug which has a very bad characteristics for the solubility and permeability, both. Solubility means the dissolution will be very bad. Permeability means it will not be able to permeate across the membrane. Both are poor. So, but this drug is very much effective as an anti-cancer drug. This is a very much effective as an anti-cancer drug. Very much effective. But once you administer into your body, it causes systemic toxicity. It causes systemic toxicities. That means it based on its dose, it causes severe side effects. So how can we not ignore the benefits when it is such a good drug? It is still approved for I don't know how many cancer conditions it is approved. The Taxol, which contains paclitaxel. How can you, based on the pharmacology, it says the paclitaxel is a microtubule stabilizing agent which causes the cancer cell death, right? So it is a very good drug based on the pharmacology. But based on the pharmacology, it says it shows dose dependent side effects. You increase the dose, it causes the problems. The drug itself is an cytotoxic drug. It kills the cancer cell, but it is achieved in a good concentration once. But if you increase the dose, it causes the issue. So where the biopharmaceutics comes in action, you can cover this drug. You can cover this drug with a suitable carrier system. Now the drug is not exposed in the systemic circulation. The drug is not directly exposed in the blood circulation, but it is covered. That means, for example, you have books, you put it in your bag, you take the bag. So just like that cargo, right, it is loaded with the drug. This molecule is inside of a carrier which is made of the lipids. Now you think of that phenomena, like dissolves like. Quickly, this drug with poor permeability will be easily transported because the nature of the carrier is lipid. The drug had poor permeability, but knowing the characteristics, you applied the formulation strategy and the drug is now available without causing such issues. So that is why, students, I say with the pharmacology comes with the biopharmaceutics, right? Now, coming back to our topic, we have seen now how this drug will be transported inside. Passive diffusion. It is a lipophilic drug. It has a size range of 100 to 400 Dalton. Concentration gradient will come across and this drug will enter our body, right? Then we have a pore transport. The drug molecule, which is water soluble, will occupy the limited hydrophilic space 4 to 10 angstrom and enters with the water flux solvent drag as the driving force. Ion pair transport, it will find its counter ion and it will transport it across the membrane. Carrier mediated will require structure specific carrier with specific active sites and transport the drug molecule. Then vesicular mediated or endocytosis. This will be as you can spot. So it is now, I hope, clear to you all that drugs, even if they have issues, once we apply appropriate formulation strategies, the drug can be made to transport inside the cell, inside the target tissues at good concentration ranges to achieve maximum benefit. Being a pharmacist, being a scientist, budding scientist, young scientist, you all, I must say, you should have the conceptual clarity at this stage to avoid confusion at the later stages. So at GDC, we do not just make you learn the concept, we actually try to put our blood and sweat so that you remember every concept very clearly. Okay. Not only this, we can help you at every possible stage of your preparation. Any issues you are facing, we are here for you all. And I need one favor from you all. Please comment down if you got any little bit of even inspired from me today, and just to shoot up your confidence to a level that you are right on track. Come with us, prepare with us, and conquer this exam. Please comment down. I need to see. I personally do check the comments of, okay, this student is this student is this. Please introduce yourself in the comment sections. Add from which college you are. I may personally try to get in touch with you as well, or at what stage you are facing the problem. Trust me, I have been a student at GDC. I have been a faculty at GDC. I am a PhD student as well. This platform is here wholeheartedly, dedicatedly to brush these young scientists to not only crack this exam but become the great scientists, become the at the best possible positions you will acquire all across the India and abroad as well. And to my best potential, I would definitely try to encourage you all for the multiple opportunities that I even do come across. Okay. So without just before ending the class today, I would like to discuss some of the questions, right? And please, let's see how much have you understood so far. Okay? Please comment down your responses. Absorption of drug is affected by. Okay. I have shown you a very good example today. Absorption of drug is affected by what? Drug solubility, the dissolution, the driving force, the pKa, all of the above and whatnot. Please answer the question. Correct. Yes. Right. Yes. So here the correct answer is going to be all of the above. We have seen the drug being hydrophilic, lipophilic, the nature, charge, molecular weight, their ionization, everything is important once you spot the factors affecting the drug absorption. You can see we have the physiochemical properties of the drug substance. You are going from house to the department. From house, if you are waking up late, you are the problem. Even if you eliminate all the factors, you are the problem. So you have to see your problem, drug substance, right? Then dosage form characteristics, and then we have to see the patient related characters. Okay. Next, what about the remaining concept? Do not worry, we are here. We are going to, this is just an introductory class, right? We have multiple live classes for you as well, so that you can get to learn what we have to offer. And definitely we will see you on board with us in our live classes. Okay. Match the following. Now you all are very much aware that once we are talking about the passive transport, passive diffusion, fixed law of diffusion, pore transport or ion pair transport, right? So I hope you do not forget that pore transport, I'll just pick something in between, will be also known as the connective transport or bulk transport. Let's see, we have eliminated option number B. Then we have our passive diffusion, which is called as non-ionic diffusion, right? So for second we have P, right? For second we have P. We have eliminated option number third as well. Okay. Next we have is the passive transport, which actually does not require energy. We all know this, right? Then we have seen fixed law of diffusion, which is the passive diffusion of the drugs, right? For third we have S. So we got our first answer as option number A, right? Correct. It was such an easy question. Very good. Okay. Next, identify the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement in context to the carrier mediated transport. So carrier mediated transport can be saturable because it is a capacity limited process. So the transport process is structure specific. You all know this thing already. It is structure specific based on the nature and the type of the carrier and the active site. The non-linearity does actually arise from what? The saturation, which is explained by the Michaelis-Menten equation. We will describe it later, right? The drugs absorb, which is the incorrect you have to find, right? Okay, the drug absorbed through absorption window are the better candidate for controlled release formulation. Is it anyway asking? Okay, last we have the carriers have no directionality. Okay, let's see, we already have seen that how the carriers are going to play the role. Definitely there is no such driving force for the carriers. They just pass across the membrane based on their nature, right? But the drug absorption through the absorption window does not make them the control better for the controlled release, because it has to see for the controlled release how the drug will actually release, right? At what stage it will be released. It has nothing to do with the absorption window. Okay. Next, full form of ADME, most simple, very simple. You can see ADME. Is it adsorption? Adsorption is a surface phenomena. Is it absorption? Definitely. So first is incorrect. Then we have distribution or disposition. Distribution is the correct answer because disposition includes both distribution and metabolism part also, right? Then we have distribution, so option A and B are incorrect. Then we have metabolism and then excretion. So correct answer is option number D, Pooja, very correct. Right, so we have ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. Okay, next. According to fixed first law of diffusion, the rate of, this was asked in the GPAT and NIPER this year, rate of drug diffusion is directly proportional to option A, molecular weight, option B, concentration gradient, ATP availability and enzyme presence, right? Actually, see, fixed law of diffusion, fixed law of diffusion. So in the fixed law, you have seen dq upon dt, which is rate of drug diffusion, is equal to dAK CS minus C GIT upon H. Now I hope you will be able to easily answer this, right? Please answer. Quickly answer. Okay. One student is asked why not C. See, if it was supposed to be elimination, it would have included, elimination is a broader term. Excretion is when we are focusing about only the excretion of the drug products, right? Or any any product. But once you are talking about the elimination, it includes both metabolism and excretion part also, right? In the disposition, it involves distribution and elimination. In the elimination, it includes metabolism and excretion. Okay. Yes. So here the concentration gradient will be the actual driving force we have seen in the passive diffusion as well. So last question, most of the drugs absorbed by which of the following mechanism? Bulk transport, hydrophilic drugs, pore transport, connective transport, solvent, drag 4 to 10 angstrom. This is all. You see the option, you remember the concept. Facilitated diffusion, carrier mediated, down the hill, concentration gradient mediated. Active transport, are we talking about it? Because we are talking about which is followed by most of the drugs. So it will be none other than the passive diffusion. Okay, we have one more question. This we will include once we are covered with the BCS classification system. Okay. So that's it about today's class. I hope you all have enjoyed watching this and have learned from today's session. I hope you all will download the GDC classes app and get enrolled with our live classes, and whatever you have learned, who you are, from which college you are, which year you are, even we would like to learn from you all. How was your experience? This is very important for us. Your feedback is very, very important for us, because ultimately you all are going to be the foundation and representatives of the GDC, right? So I hope this is it about the today's class, and you all have understood the concepts. I just need your comments. How was it? Did you enjoy the class? You have learned today or not? And then I think we are ready to leave. I am waiting for your responses. If you are willing, please comment down your responses. I am really much willing to see how many of you have understood the concept today. Okay. It actually boosts our confidence as well. Concepts are clear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we are ready to leave. Thank you so much. We will surely meet in the upcoming classes. Make sure to comment down what topics you would like to learn, what things about the biopharmaceutics, the physical pharmacy, both are with me. So you can comment down as much as possible which concepts you would like to learn next. Thank you so much. We will meet in the next video.